Hi, Maria here. I have some idea to show you some very quick uh, backgrounds to get over the white page in your art journal. So here I'm just using acrylic paints to cover it up with an old credit card. And you can choose whatever colors, so strong ones, soft ones, and then come back later and make your art on top of it. It can be quite inspiring actually to already have something started. So this is probably the easiest way to get started if you feel stuck and clueless. And here I have collected a bunch of papers. There is a safety envelope, some old music sheets, some decorative papers, paperback text, and I'm using Mod Podge to glue it down because papers are better glued with Mod Podge if you're going to put wet media on top. Now this was getting really old Mod Podge, so um, it doesn't work real well. It doesn't flow real well. So I decided to use a glue stick instead for this video, just to show you. A glue stick is okay for last layers, not so much if you want to put a bunch of wet layers on top. It can separate from the page. It's better to use medium or a watered down glue. I like this to glue down papers. So here I've done all. I want to show you real quick how to do tissue paper. So I roll it up into a ball and then I spread it out and it gets all wrinkled. So you can get like a very aged look with that, or even a leather look. So then I let that dry and then I just chose a color to fill in the gaps. And then I'm using a baby wipe here. I keep it actually in a Ziploc bag, double bag it because it tends to dry out. And here I'm using white to coordinate everything into more cohesive look. And here I have the unbleached titanium white. See how that ties it all together? It makes a great background for when you come back to the page. You can do whatever you want with it. Now that's the yellow part there is wet with the tissue paper, so I would probably cover that over also with white when it dries. And here I just used a page out of a magazine and I put Mod Podge all over that to make sure it lays down flat. To use a credit card to squeeze out any air bubbles. Here you could add other collage elements to that, but it makes kind of a good outdoors scene for a background. I'm just doodling nonsense with a permanent marker, and that covers up the page too. Make sure they're permanent markers, otherwise it will smear when you put paint on top of that. That was a bit bright there, but I could do something with it. And here are other tools that I use. There's my credit card again, and I have some bubble wrap. So I'm making patterns here. And that's some sort of painting tool for walls, but can you use it in the art? Spreading the paint in different ways. So that makes a great background. And then I decided to use a stencil. So I have to look for a brush that is like a stencil brush. They're flat, they have flat tops, so you can kind of stab through the stencil, or you can use a piece of sponge. But don't dig into the holes because then the pattern will be ruined and have ragged edges. So you stamp straight down lightly with a pretty dry brush. And then I can add more paint and just use my hands. Hands are good for painting. So that gives some interesting patterns for future projects. Here I had some old, I had poured glue and then I painted over that, and that there is dilutions inks on top of paint. So then you can cut out shapes from those and add that as a background. So this one with the glue and the paint, I decided to cut up into strips, and I can glue them down and have a background that's very interesting, more like a pattern. So that's it, folks. So now get inspired and make some art. Thank you.